Friends, Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have Star Wars, the Vintage Collection, the best collection in my opinion. Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels. If you like the video, please like and subscribe and help me to build my channel. Thank you very much. Man, been waiting for the Rebels crew in the Vintage Collection for a long time. So frustrating to see the Black Series pump out all these figures, and those of us who've been collecting the Vintage Collection for years have had to wait this long to finally get Kanan in the classic 3.75 scale for the Vintage Collection. But I'm thankful that we're finally getting this. I'm thankful we're finally getting the Ghost crew. I'm going to do another video on Ezra. We already have Hera, Sabine, Chopper. There's Zeb also. I don't know if I'm going to get the Zeb figure that's been released, because there is one coming with the Ghost crew when that finally arrives from the HasLab. But anyhow, to finally have Kanan and Ezra is just awesome, especially as a collector. I love Jedi Knights, you know what I mean? So, and I love Rebels. Rebels was such a good, enjoyable story. It was very reminiscent of the original Star Wars trilogy. It took place at the same time. Just different stories, different missions and events and things like that. Working parallel with the story of Luke Skywalker. But Kanan's a great character. A former Padawan whose master was killed during the Jedi Purge. He was still just a boy when that happened, so he was never a fully developed Jedi. Then he meets Ezra, of course, in the beginning of Rebels, and Ezra is Force sensitive, and he begins training him in the ways of the Force. And it's kind of cool. I loved their dynamic because they were very father-son-like, and it was sort of like what it would look like if Anakin Skywalker remained good and he trained Luke, and what that could have looked like. That's what it made me feel like watching Rebels, and I just really enjoyed the dynamic. Kanan was also a cool character because he was sort of like a combination of Luke and Han. He was the, starfighter. He was on the Ghost, of course, teamed up with Hera. But he was also a Jedi. So it was sort of like this swashbuckler character combined with a Jedi Knight, which I loved. And he was voiced most excellently by Freddie Prinze Jr. From, the early 2000s in various movies. Scooby-Doo, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I grew up on those films. I was in high school when those came out, and I just always enjoyed Freddie Prinze Jr. I would love to see Freddie Prinze Jr. be Kanan in live action, like in a flashback or something. That would be so cool. But anyhow, so I'm very happy to get this figure. Let's review him. Let's bust him out. So we get a nice animated image from Rebels. I wasn't a big fan of the Rebels animation style. I wish they would have kept it just like Clone Wars for consistency. They're a little bit, ganglier. Kind of like Gumby, if you guys remember that old show, Gumby. He was like a claymation character, and he was just real bendy looking. They were like thinner. Like, look at his lightsaber blade. They're so skinny on Rebels. The Clone Wars just had a better animation style, in my opinion. But that's this image here. Here's the back. You no longer, in recent history with Vintage Collection figures, you don't get the other figures in the wave on the back of the card. VC318. His little bio says, Kanan Jarrus, once known by the name Caleb Doom. Kanan Jarrus survived the Emperor's Purge, going underground for years, leading up to the Galactic Civil War. He was a leader among the Ghost crew. So this is a great figure. I know in the Ghost one we get different heads. But I love Kanan. I love this character, so I'm happy to finally get him. They sculpted him in the realistic looking way. So let's bust him out and get a look at him. I already cut the pill with an X-Acto knife. So he comes with a blaster. And that's a nice, just standard looking blaster. Looks good. I'm not seeing any paint on it, so it's just a solid color. And then we get his lightsaber. You get a ignited lightsaber and the hilt. And I like the unique design. So it's looking pretty good. The paint job on mine is it's not done very well. The silver is not thick enough, and the blue kind of fades through. So they could have done a better job on that with this particular figure that I got. If anybody else out there has their Kanan figures, maybe they got a better paint job on the lightsaber, but looks good. I like the design of his lightsaber. And here's the unignited hilt. And there's a little clip on there so you can port that in. And let's get a good look at Kanan. He looks great. He kind of looks a little bit Latino. He doesn't look like Freddie Prinze Jr. I wish they would have made him look like Freddie Prinze Jr. But he looks good. He's a good face. He's got a nice little goatee. Looks very realistic. He's got his little ponytail in the back. I like his shoulder pad. There's the logo there on the shoulder. I don't know if you guys can see that. The light's kind of bright. It's shining off of it. But yeah, nice, really nice sculpt. He looks great. Let's look at the articulation. The shoulders go up this high. This shoulder pad is sculpted on. Or actually it's glued on, but it's soft, so you can move his arm up. And his elbow bends that far. It's got the vertical hinge on the wrist, which I love for weapons. This side, there's also an elbow rotation in the wrist. Both wrists have the vertical hinge, which is great for holding lightsabers. His torso is on a ball joint, so that's great. Oh, look at that back bend. Nice crunch. The head, really nice movement in the head. We got the double barbell there. Really nice. And then we got the T joints versus the Y joints in the hips, which is perfect. They should never do hips any other way. I just can't stand those kind of joints. Classic G.I. Joe hip joints there. Nice looking holster for his blaster. Leg goes up that high. Knee is a little bit more than 90 degrees, which I like. What else? The ankles. Got a hinge in the ankle, and then we got ankle pivot. So all the articulation you'd pretty much want at a figure at this scale and size. Let's see, put his hand in there. Put the lightsaber in there. Kind of floppy there. And that could be a little bit tighter with the lightsaber. That's great. We can port the lightsaber on his belt like that. So you can have that on there unignited. And then his blaster can go in its holster like so. Looks really nice. Gorgeous figure. So happy to have Kanan. Finally the Ghost Crew. Long overdue at the vintage collection scale. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I highly recommend this figure, especially for fans of Star Wars Rebels. God bless you all. Peace.